in this section, we are going to talk about Python libraries and Python modules. So let me just go ahead and I will illustrate it before diving to the coding. So in our previous sessions, in our previous lessons, we were learning about the functions in Python. So what is the function is, so it's just a block of code. So let's imagine we have a one block, and inside that block we have a couple lines of codes, and we have a special name for that one. So I can call it's A, or I can call it ABC. So the A stands for, that is the name of the function, and that is the code that is belong to that function. So time to time we have a function that it needs some variables, and some functions they don't need a variable. And later on, if I need to call this function, so I need to just to recall it, I will call it the A, and these all codes is going to be executed for me. So what about the library? So what is the library stands for? The library is a combination of the different functions. So imagine that I have one function over here, I have another function over here, I have another functions over here. It can be a few functions, or it can be many functions. So just in a second, we're gonna talk about what kind of different libraries we have. So and the pack of all functions, you see I have a huge pack right now. Inside that functions, inside the library, I have only three functions, and this whole package we call it library. So we can call it library, or we can call it module. So both of them are same. So that is a module, or it's a library. So imagine that is a function one. I can call it's A, that is the B, and that is the C. So each of them are names of the function, and this whole package we can call it something else. Let me just call it X, Y, Z. You see, so right now I have a XYZ library. In that library I have three different functions, and also just keep in mind that library and the modules, they are same. Let me just go to the Google and see what kind of libraries are available. Or let me just go I will just Google right in front of you. I will say Python libraries. And let's see what kind of different libraries we have. I don't know exactly how many libraries we have as of today, but they are a lot, and hundreds, maybe thousands of the libraries. Some of the libraries, they're very small, they have a few functions only, but some of the libraries, they are huge, they have a lot of functions, and each library, they has a different functions. You see, so we have a TensorFlow, we have a PyTorch, we have an OpenCV that is using in the machine learning, and different stuffs. So let me just give another demonstration about what kind of library we need to use and how many libraries are available. What is the difference between one library and another library? Imagine that you have a smartphone. So it comes from the any brand, let me call it Apple or Android. So those companies are just giving you a few applications here as a default. And also they have a store, Apple Store or Google Play. So on the cloud system, we have thousands or even millions of applications over here as well. So it depends on what application you want. If you want to play the games, you need to download different applications. If you are doing something else, so it depends on what you are going to do is, so you are going to download those applications to your smartphone. You see, so you need to download and you need to use whatever you need to use. So here in the Python, it's the same. So we already learned the basics of the Python. So right now, after this point, we are going to use the libraries. And based on what we are going to do, if we are planning to make a design game, so we will use the different libraries. If you will dive to the machine learning or data science, we will be using different libraries. If you want to make a mobile applications, you will need to use completely different libraries. So you see, depends on what you are going to use. So you need to select your libraries. So, as a given the example of the smartphone that you have a cloud, you have an app store, and you need to download here. So in the Python we call it import. So we need to import a library that we want to use, and let's see how it looks like on this Google Colab. So here is I need to use this a couple syntax. So I will say the import. You see the syntax, even the color is changed now. So right now I need to give a name of the library. So for example, I will say math. You see the math is the name of the libraries. If I run it, that means I just downloaded all my functions which is inside the math. So right now I have a math library. And if you want to look inside, so let me just demonstrate it here one more time. So right now what we did is we just imported or downloaded our math library. So we have a math over here, and inside of math we have a different functions. I'm not sure how many functions are in the math library, but they are a lot. So let me see. If you want to check what kind of functions are available, what you need to do is, since we already run it, you see we just imported, what I can do is I will say math and dot. After making dot, and you will see all functions that is inside that library. So each of them is a function. And do you remember that each function is just a block of code? So it's just saving our time, it's just saving our lives. You see, so instead of typing a lot of lines of codes by ourselves, it's already done here. So somebody has already come up, so somebody has already designed these libraries, and we are just using them, and so on and so on and so on. So for example, let me see. I want to take the square root of any number. I will say math, and I was ASQRT, you see it's popping up over here, and I want to put a number over here. So let me just put it 4. So what does it mean? That from the library math dot and the function. So here is another tricky point that we need to keep in mind, that so whenever we are using the libraries, we need to write the library name, and after that dot and the function in that library. So that is the format. We cannot use other way. I cannot use my library name space and the function. It will not work. Or I cannot use like library name underscore and the function name. So it will not work. This does not work. So the only thing is it's a library name. So let me write L and dot and my function which is inside that library. Okay, perfect. So what I can do is if I run it, it is going to calculate for me. Also, what I can do is, let me just run one more time. Let me see what kind of functions are also available. I will say math. Let me just make a sine of 90. If I run it, it is going to give me a result like that one. Or let's see what else is available. And if you just come up, so I have a cosine, and you are not sure what is the cosine is. I mean, like how to use the cosine. So do I need to open the brackets, or do I need to put the quotations, or in how it is working? So what you can do is, you see, so whenever you type math and dot, and you find out cosine, but you are not sure what is coming next, what you can do is in the beginning, you can just type help, and open and close the parentheses, and it will give you a small documentations about how to use that. So it just gives you a little bit information about, so we have this library and we have that functions and what this function is going to do and what I need to put inside. So how can I use that? And also let me just give another another library. I will just introduce it. So we have, let me just import random. So I just didn't randomly type random because the random is the name of the library. So I just imported. So if I just run it, I downloaded my random library, and because that random is the name of the library. And let me see what kind of functions are in that library. So I will say random dot. So if you just wait for a second maybe, or half second, so you can see how many different functions are in. So right now what I can do is from the random I will use rand int. So you see, so right now that is the name of the library and that is the function in that library. So it is going to generate random number for me. So the rand int stands for random integer. And you see right now, maybe you'll be confused what I need to do next. Shall I open the close the brackets, or it should be with a parenthesis? Do I need to put the quotes? So what I need to do here. So let me just go and say I need some help on that one. So if you write help and close these brackets and parentheses, if you run it, it is going to give you some numbers. So right now it says that, hey, you need to type rand int and open and close the parentheses and give it two numbers. So I need to give it A, comma, B. So that is the format. So what is the A, B stands for? It is going to generate a random number between these two numbers. And both of them are included, you see? So they are giving. So let me see how it looks like. So I will say random rand int. And let me just give you from 1 to 10. So it is going to generate a random number between 1 and 10 included, and it is going to print for me. So if I run it, ba-bam, 6 is done. Let me run one more time. If I run one more time, it is going to generate one more time, so I have a different number now. If I just keep running that, it is going to give me different numbers. Let me just go make a little bigger number. So if I go that way, that is perfect. So can I go to the negative number? Let's try. I will make a 100, negative 100, all the way to the positive 100. So it is going to generate different numbers for me. You see, negative 5. So each time, whenever I run it, it is going to generate a random number for me. So that is the library name. Oops, that is the library name, and that is the function is in that library.